Good evening and welcome to Bridgewater-Raynham Regional High School as the BR Trojans get set to open up the Division II South Football Tournament. Their opponent tonight, the Braintree Wamps. I'm John Luck with Scott Olson. And Scott, this is going to be, very simply put, a battle of the running backs tonight.
That's right. Braintree's running back Billy Sylvia scored 3 touchdowns in the third quarter last week as they took out Weymouth to win their first division title since 2004. He scored those 3 touchdowns on 163 yards rushing, so definitely someone to look for on the Braintree side.
Meanwhile, you look at the BR side, lo and behold, another BR running back rushes for a lot of yards. Of course, we're talking about Devontae Graves, 4 games this season, just under 700 yards rushing with 6 touchdowns, and Bryce Shaw, also the fullback for the BR Trojans.
It always seems like BR has great running backs. Every year, even when I was going to school here, they always seem to have 1 or 2 great running backs, and they've always built their offense around that. So if they can get the running game going, they're pretty tough to beat.
Dan Bjorn says that to have a great running game, you need to have a great offensive line, and he certainly has a great offensive line here this season as BR is hosting their first playoff game in 2 seasons. Last season, they played on the road for all 3 matchups leading into King Philip. BR Trojans, Eddie Woodbury, Dan Taylor, and Jaden Rosario waiting the kick, and we are underway, and the playoffs are underway here at the regional. Dan Taylor from just outside the 20 will get stuffed at the 33, and that's where the BR offense will come out for the first time here tonight. Corey Sullivan, of course, leading the offense as the quarterback. Devontae Graves, Bryce Shaw, that dual running back threat. Joey D'Amelia, Danny Taylor, and as the 2 wide receivers.
And if I'm not mistaken, Bryce Shaw is committed to play to Navy next year, so congratulations to him.
Bryce Shaw, I should say, did point out last year's loss to King Philip as really a driving point for the BR Trojans this season, saying that loss has been in the back of their minds since they lost last season. So tonight really a driving force trying to get back to King Philip. BR opening up in a split receiver set. Joey D'Amelia on the near side, Jeff Cicio in motion. Here's a handoff to Bryce Shaw playing tailback, and Shaw will get up to the 33-yard line.
Nice play there by Braintree, actually, filling all the holes and making sure Bryce Shaw had nowhere to go. And Bryce Shaw has been known to break some tackles, so good arm tackles there to make sure he went down.
Bryce Shaw this season did spell Devontae Graves for a few games. Shaw had close to 200 yards rushing against New Bedford and 3 touchdowns, all of that in the first half.
If we remember that rainy game against New Bedford, Bryce Shaw had 42 carries for 321 yards, mostly in the first half.
2nd down and 9, split receiver set. Bryce Shaw goes straight through the middle of the Braintree defense up to the 38-yard line for a gain of about 3 or so.
That'll bring up about a 3rd and 6, 3rd and 5 here for the Trojans. Not the best situation for them as a running team. They'll force them to pass here on 3rd down and see if Corey Sullivan can get it done.
BR coming off of a win last week on the road at St. John's Prep, and that was a win that Dan Bjorn pointed out that the team was really focused on the bus ride up to Danvers, trying to fight for that home field advantage in at least the first round. BR can host a 2nd round matchup if New Bedford upsets Natick tonight.
That'd be quite the upset from my sources in the high school football world, but you never know.
On 3rd down, Corey Sullivan rolls out to his left, going down the field, gets the first down, and gets pushed out right at the first down marker, but they're actually going to mark him down just shy. Going to bring up a 4th and inches, it looks like. That might have been a friendly spot for Braintree.
Yeah, I would say so. To me, from here, it looked like he got it, but I'm not sure if that was a design play or that more of a broken play that just happened to work out well for the Trojans. Either way, they got him on 4th and short.
So it's a gain of 5 for Corey Sullivan, the senior quarterback.
Now, interesting decision here by the Trojans to go for it on 4th down. I know it's 4th and short, but it is early in the game, and if you don't get it here for some reason, Braintree goes to score. It's a huge momentum swing.
So the BR offense comes out on 4th down. Dan Taylor, the man on the near side. D'Amelia, the man in motion. Early jump by Braintree, and that might have been what Dan Bjorn was banking on.
I think that was number 8, Will Rutan, if I saw that correctly, but terrible mistake there. At least make him run the ball.
Well, typically on a 4th and short, the quarterback just goes out there to try and see if the defense is going to jump off sides. It worked out, obviously.
In the playoffs, you have to have more discipline than that.
Braintree celebrating their first division title since 2004, as they are the Bay State Carry Division champions. Bay State Carry, one of the better-known Division II leagues here in the state. On first down, Bryce Shaw takes it down just shy of midfield. Should be gaining about 2 or 3 on the play for the fullback.
So far, Braintree is doing pretty well in containment. There hasn't been even a really big hole for the BR running backs to get through. I know it's early, but kudos to them so far.
So it is a gain of 3. Brings up a 2nd and 7.
Well, we're just about at the 50-yard line. 2nd and 6.
Shaw is a tailback. 42 carries, 321 yards, and 5 touchdowns. On second down, Robert Jufre takes it for a gain of just about 2. The junior running back.
And again, Braintree sets up BR for a 3rd and long. They're doing their job so far on defense, besides jumping off sides. But we'll see how the drive plays out.
So now you're facing a 3rd and 5 if you're the BR Trojans. But again, the clock continuing to wind down. We're down to 8:10 remaining in this first quarter of this Division II South football tournament.
Kind of what you expected between 2 running teams. The clock to run, not many possessions, got to make the most of them.
On 3rd down, here's the pitch to Shaw, and Shaw bolts his way to the 44. He's going to be a yard shy.
Depends on the spot. The referee in front of us looks like he's, about a half yard short.
So this looks like, once again, going to be Bryce Shaw territory. This is the running statement here for BR football games. James Cobb coming in here for Dan Taylor. So
an extra tight end, big guy, try to block. I assume it's going to be a run.
Trojan packing it in, Jufre and Shaw in the backfield. Sullivan on the QB keep. That's going to be the first down thanks to the forward progress.
Not a play you see from the Trojans a lot. We see the professional football team around here do that very successfully, but not something I've seen Corey Sullivan do a lot, and credit to him, he did his job. Not to steal a term from the professional football team around here.
I was going to say, that might be copywritten.
I would just be happy that Belichick noticed me if he comes after me for that one.
You might have seen your selfie on Facebook.
Well, you got to do some things, man. You get noticed.
So
and that means post a selfie in the booth. That means post a selfie in the booth.
BR winding the clock down here. Already 4 minutes on this drive. Here, the man in motion, play action. Sullivan has all the time in the world. He's actually going to take this one on the run. Corey Sullivan, first down, and then some. Corey Sullivan to the 19-yard line. He is a passing quarterback, but he's also a running quarterback.
Second big run from him we've seen today, and looking downfield, Braintree had great blanket coverage on the receivers. No one really looked open to me, except no one decided to cover the quarterback, and he took full advantage of it.
Offensive line coming up big. Starting offensive line for the BR Trojans, Nolan Anderson, James Hanovan, Connor Donovan starting at center, Tim Brennan, James McDermott for the BR offensive line, dealing with Braintree in the battle of the trenches. So the Trojans get up to red zone territory. Split receiver set on first down. Hand off to Shaw. Straight through the Braintree D again, up to the 16. Already 16 yards rushing on 5 carries.
And again, just another short game. I know it's early. Braintree's keeping them short right now. We'll see how that plays out in the fourth quarter. It seems to be typically how these games go. BR wears the opponent down and they break off the big runs late. But if you're Braintree right now, I know BR is moving the chains, but you have to be happy containing Bryce Shaw and everybody else so far.
So it's a gain of 4, brings up a 2nd and 6, just under 6 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Pass complete to Dan Taylor, gets the first down and knocked down at the 8.
Pretty hard to cover that unless you know it's coming. Quick little slant route, get the ball out quick. Try to have your receiver dart close to or get the first down, and in this case, he definitely did.
Dan Taylor, typically one of the top receivers on the BR depth chart, up there with Jeff CCO. Of course, you have Joey D'Amelio, who made the spectacular one-handed grab against Dartmouth. Now, first and goal, BR going from the Braintree 8 handoff to Bryce Shaw, and he is met up by the Braintree defensive line, including number 47, Billy Sylvia.
Sylvia, running back, stopping running back in this case. We gotta love high school football.
Sylvia forced a few fumble opportunities last week against Weymouth, had 2 fumble recoveries, so he's a threat both offensively and defensively. As the Trojans had the ball with just under 5 minutes to go in this first quarter, a 6-minute plus drive for the BR Trojans. On second and goal, D'Amelia in motion. Handoff Bryce Shaw, gets some help from Jufrey to get a couple of extra yards up to the 6.
So far, Braintree has not been able to stop these third and longs, which is a little surprising. BR seems to struggle with the longer passing plays. I mean, Braintree, you gotta have to be a little disappointed with the way this drive's gone. You've stopped the run, you've stopped Bryce Shaw, you've stopped Devontae Graves, and yet here we are, 6-minute drive, knocking on the goal line. I don't know how much you can play better defense than that. So, I mean, you know, stopping Graves and Shaw.
Also at this point, you also are compressing that Braintree defense, so now you can sacrifice a couple of secondary players for maybe an extra offensive lineman, extra linebacker, maybe get a spy back in there to help out with stopping Bryce Shaw.
Or containing Corey Sullivan. He's run for a couple of first downs in these situations. You certainly want him to break one along the goal line.
Dan Bjorn burns one of his timeouts here with 3:55 left to go. BR facing a 3rd and goal. We saw Dan Bjorn do this a couple weeks ago against Barnstable, a first quarter timeout, kind of reset the offense, try and figure out all the possibilities looking at this Braintree defense.
Big play for the Trojans here. I think with a 6-minute drive, wearing down Braintree's defense, they're stopping what you want to do. I think you have to capitalize with a touchdown here. Obviously, you want touchdowns in a playoff game, but I feel like, especially a drive like this, kind of break Braintree's backs early, get a touchdown, go up 7, force them to do the same to you.
Dan Brown said this about the Braintree Wamps. They mix it up a lot, misdirection, and you have to be really disciplined against this football team. That includes on both sides of the ball, as we're seeing here tonight. Continuously handing off to Bryce Shaw, 6 carries already. Corey Sullivan also going off for a 23-yard run. So BR doing their jobs. 3rd and goal. Split receiver set. D'Amelio lined up on the near side. Sullivan. Pass is complete to Dan Taylor for a BR touchdown. A 5-yard reception for the senior wide receiver.
That was the same play they ran earlier in the drive to get the last first down. Just a little quick slant route, get the ball out quick. Defense can't stop it unless you know it's coming. And we've seen some stops like that before in games where the defender will jump the route, but unless you're 100% sure, it's tough. It's tough. You play the defender instead of the ball.
And you go back to last week, that was or a couple weeks ago, that was a very dangerous part of the field for Corey Sullivan. An interception, a fumble by Devontae Graves. So certainly a good job for the BR Trojans as Thomas Bay will make it a 7-0 game.
Well, if you're the Trojans, like I said, you have to be really happy with that drive. Burn a lot of time off the clock, score 7. Defense hit you with their best hit, stopping your run. Still able to get down the field. Now you just have to hope your defense can make a 3 and out, get a turnover, really put the pressure in Braintree in a playoff game. I think it's a little bit different in a playoff game, where in a regular season game you go up 2 scores, you can still come back, but in a playoff game I feel like you would press a little bit more, trying to win, trying to come back, maybe make more mistakes, especially if you're down several scores.
And BR's defense has been more of a bend but don't break defense. Once you get inside the 40, BR can Sacrifice another secondary player, maybe help out along the defensive line, try and rush the quarterback, make him feel a little bit uncomfortable. Polino Rodriguez awaiting this kick from Thomas Fay. A low squib kick. This is going to be taken by Andrew Donahue. Donahue gets past the 20 up to the 25, and that's as far as it's going to go, up to the 27-yard line.
PR had some good coverage on that. Had some guys get down there early and miss tackles. Luckily, everybody else had good coverage on there.
So now we get to see Billy Sylvia, the running back for the Braintree Wamps, come out. As I mentioned last week, Sylvia 163 yards rushing against Weymouth. Tight formation. Here's a handoff on first down. That's to Ben Loong, and Loong is going to be taken down shy of the 40. There is a fumble. BR recovers, and just like that, the Trojans may already be in business.
Well, BR got that turnover I asked for, so I don't know if they have a feed from the truck or, a very nice defensive play here by the Trojans. Running back, yeah, clearly a fumble.
D'Amelia in there on the stop, along with Michael Wilder. Wilder's become a really important player defensively for the BR Trojans. Had a couple of almost blocked punts, had a couple of interceptions this season.
That really saved that play for the Trojans because Loon really had a nice run there. He almost had a first down. Maybe with the forward progress, he would have got one. What a nice start for the drive for the Braintree Wamps. Instead, BR's knocking on the door again.
So now this is, again, another important drive for the BR Trojans. Chance to try and go up by 2 scores before the end of the first quarter. On first down, play action. Sullivan, all the time in the world. Pass complete to Jeff Cicio on the near side. Cicio gets some help, gets a couple extra. BR inside Braintree red zone.
No one covered Cicio. He was wide open the entire play. No one was in 5 to 10 yards of him on that one, as we can see here on the replay. No one within 5 yards. Someone missed their man, and BR has a big gain.
Joey D'Amelia in there on the help in the secondary, trying to help Cicio get a couple extra.
It looked like CCO was lined up on the line as a tight end, so maybe someone thought he was going to block on that play and just missed an assignment.
And Braintree will call a timeout. And Brian Chamberlain is not very happy with his team right now.
No, he shouldn't be. I don't know what else to say. I mean, you let up a long 6-minute drive. You can't stop them. You force long third downs, which I have a feeling was their game plan. Force long third downs, force them to pass, and you still got a 6-minute drive for a touchdown. And then in your first offensive possession, you turn over on the first play before you get anything started. I don't think anybody would really be happy with that start, especially in a big game like this.
This is where having a coach like Dan Biron certainly helps out, because you can go ahead and tell these players, you know what, this game is nowhere close to over. If we get another touchdown, we're up 14-0. But just like that, Braintree can come back at the snap of a finger.
Oh, absolutely, especially with Billy Sylvia there, who's run all over Division II, it seems, so far for Braintree. So all it takes is one play, and Braintree's back in it.
The Trojans' lone loss on the season was to Zavarian. They beat everybody else coming into this game at 6-1. Certainly a very difficult schedule to start out the season against Duxbury, against Zavarian. Both of those games on the road. Only 2 home games this season.
And BR is running a 5-game winning streak, outscoring their opponents 149-54.
Devontae Graves in for the first time tonight on first down. Nice trickery there as Devontae Graves gets it. And he's going to be taken down by a whole host of Braintree Wamps.
I mean, nice trickery trying to hide who's getting the ball, but Braintree really snuffed that out. They have men in the backfield right away. Good pursuit by Braintree there. We have number 45, I think that was 34, lost his helmet there at the end. Noah Brooks. Yeah, Noah Brooks had great penetration on that one, knew what was coming. almost like he's probably seen his own offense run that before. Since I know Braintree does a lot of trickery on offense, maybe they've seen it in practice.
Now 2nd and 9, just under 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Split receiver set again. Pitch to Graves, and Graves will get stuffed right around the line of scrimmage thanks to Matt Connolly.
And Graves is shaking his head there, but I don't know what he could have done. There was nowhere to run on this play. Take another look here, and Graves had guys hitting him before he really got a chance to look up. Maybe he's mad at no one blocking, or maybe he's just frustrated, but again, Braintree's doing their job here. They're stopping the run, forcing BR on these long 3rd downs.
Almost looks like Braintree may have the advantage in the battle of the trenches. That pass is complete to Dan Taylor inside the 5, up to the 3. And an 11-yard completion from Sullivan to Taylor.
Well, when you get into these long 3rd downs, you have to stop the ensuing pass, and so far Braintree hasn't been able to do that tonight. Sullivan's really good at these quick passes, just trying to find guys open real quick, and he's doing a good job of it so far.
Already 48 yards passing for Corey Sullivan, and a touchdown, a 5-yard connection to Dan Taylor. Taylor lined up on the near side, Amelia on the far side of the screen. Cicio was the man in motion right there momentarily. 1st and goal. Handoff to Devontae Graves. And the Trojans strike again, just like that.
Nice run by Graves up the middle there. Take advantage of what he had and just able to bull his way over. He's a great running back and able to do this kind of stuff. Nice blocking by Bryce Shaw in front of him, allowing him to get that opening. Just like that, the Trojans are up 2 scores.
1:34 still to go in this first quarter. Thomas Fay on, and BR is up 14-0. Thanks to Devontae Graves, 3-yard carry.
Couldn't ask for a better start if you're the Trojans. Got a turnover on defense, 2 scores in your first 2 drives. They're in the driver's seat right now. And BR is certainly playing tonight like they're remembering last year's loss to King Philip. They're playing with tenacity. They're going after it. They're trying everything they can to win the game, and so far it's working.
Well, Brian Berard, the guy who I usually call games with, he was here earlier in the season, in the preseason, and he could tell that Corey Sullivan kind of had that look in his eye, because don't forget, Sullivan was the guy that threw the interception to end BR's season, so he almost feels as though he ended BR's season. He wants to come back with a little bit of extra fire behind him in his senior year. And we're starting to see that here tonight. Already 4 completed passes.
4 completed passes and two key 3rd down conversions on that long 6-minute drive too. On the ground too. Not something you really see him do very often, but good on him for doing what he needed to do.
So Fay on for the kick. Another low squib kick. It's going to be taken by Donahue. Andrew Donahue gets stopped at the 35.
I'm not sure what BR's strategy here is with these squib kicks. They're seemingly starting to give up poor field position. Already up to 35. Not great coverage on that kick either. If you're I don't know how deep BR could kick it if they wanted to. It is high school. Not everybody can boom it out of the back of the end zone. But at the same time, I would feel like you'd want to kick it as far as you can and try to bury Braintree as deep as you can. Try to force them deep in their own territory and do a long drive on you like you did to them.
There is no wind to speak of. Just a chilly night here at the regional. As the Braintree offense comes back out. Some more trickery on 1st down. Ben Loom for a gain of about 2 or 3 on the play.
Probably going to see this a lot from Braintree tonight. Trying to figure out. That was Sylvia flipped it over to Loom. So many numbers flying by at the right time to put Braintree's roster right in front of me.
It's like watching Scott play Jeopardy. Inside of a minute, 2nd and 7 for the Wamps. Donahue lined up on the far side. Trojans sending some pressure. Here's the QB keep. And Bryce Shaw is going to be in there on the stop on Zach Harris.
Zach Harris, senior quarterback for Braintree. Looked like he had handed that off here, but I guess right off to Sylvia, he really just took it for himself. And Braintree's coming as advertised. A lot of trickeration here. They're just real straight runs. The one straight run we did see ended up in a turnover.
That's what Dan Biron said about the Braintree Wamps. They mix up a lot of misdirection. You have to focus on your gap responsibilities because it's that offense that really you can have a running back go anywhere on the field. 3rd and 5. Pass is complete to the near side. First down and then some. Donahue was the receiver who gets stopped at the 46-yard line, and that's how this first quarter will end.
Just a quick pitch and catch there from Harris to Donahue. Just looked like a backyard catch, but it worked out for the Braintree Wamps. See it again, just a real quick pitch and catch. Hard to cover that unless you know what's going there. And BR eventually brings him down after the first down conversion. So, very similar drive to what the Trojans had so far. Trojans' first drive, which is joining us, was a 6-minute drive. A lot of third down conversions with either on the running of the quarterback or passes, which is unusual for the BR Trojans, but obviously it's worked since they're up 14-0.
Corey Sullivan, a touchdown pass tonight to Dan Taylor from 5 yards out. Also had a 23-yard run on a third down conversion, which really spark plugged that first offensive drive that ended up in a touchdown. Braintree already has 1 turnover on the night. BR got 7 points off of that, and that's really where you're going to win a playoff football game. Down the road, even next week or a couple weeks down the line, is, as you see, Bryce Shaw, number 47, he's really stepped up defensively, but offensively, you saw him as a tailback stepping in for Devontae Graves for a few games.
It's really the two-headed monster that BR has in that backfield.
QB keep. Harris is going to get up to the 39.
Take a look at the replay here. Again, a little bit of trickeration with Lang coming in front. If you weren't paying too much attention, maybe you would have thought he got the ball, came around the outside, and said the quarterback kept it and ran for 8. That's a tough one to swallow, having the QB keep right up the middle go for 8 yards.
Second and 2 for Zach Harris, the senior quarterback in this Wamps offense. Harris had time, now he doesn't. Take him down at the 49-yard line. Dave Leach and Matt Foley in on the sack. Did you see Leach coming around the near side?
Leach and Foley got in there really quickly, but Harris had a chance. He saw the rush. He should have just thrown that ball away. Even if it's a 5-yard, 10-yard penalty, it's a lot better than, I guess it's only 3rd and 12. I thought he was a little bit farther back, but still, a 3rd and long is not exactly ideal for an offense heavily based on the run like Braintree is.
A 10-yard loss on 2nd down, and now Braintree facing a 3rd and 12. Here's Sylvia, gets the carry. And Billy Sylvia will get up to what was the original line of scrimmage back at the 47-yard line, but the Trojans defense stepping up.
We heard so much about Sylvia coming into this game, and this is really his first attempt, and we see another look at the sack there. Maybe Harris didn't have quite as much time as I thought to get rid of that ball, but he did notice the rush coming, and he tried to get away.
Almost looks like he was spending too much time trying to get all pretty and spinning around, trying to get the nice long pass downfield, but
just threw it out of bounds.
So the Wamps forced to punt here with 8:50 left to go in the first half. Dan Taylor, Joey D'Amelia waiting around their own 14-yard line. Nice wobbling kick up to the 13, and Taylor is going to take it. Dan Taylor gets stopped at the 24-yard line for the 3rd time tonight. The BR offense comes out.
This little tiptoeing on the sidelines there by Taylor. I thought he was going to step out of bounds with his momentum. Take a look here. Yep, definitely a nice little toe tap on the sideline. Oh, a little bit close with, right there. Definitely close with that right foot as he tried to come back into the field of play. I think he was still in bounds. But nice play to get his offense further up the field.
Trojans scored both times they've had the ball on offense tonight. And a 6-minute drive to open things up. As they start from their own 23-yard line. Two receivers to the near side, handoff to Devontae Graves. And Graves has had a difficult time getting started here. Gets up for a gain of about maybe 1 or so on the play.
Certainly got a lot of fight in him, even with 3 guys wrapped around his legs. He's trying to churn forward, trying to break a tackle. Got to give him credit there, but also got to give credit for Braintree's interior line. They're not giving BR any holes tonight. They really haven't had a run longer than 3 or 4 yards outside of the QB scrambles. So I'm sure they looked at the film coming into this game, and the interior line is doing what they're supposed to.
5 yards rushing for Devontae Graves on 4 carries early on. Bryce Shaw did a lot of the running back duties in the first quarter. 2nd and 8. Sullivan gonna pass this time, and that one is going to be complete to Dan Taylor.
Nice catch by Taylor on the sideline. Nice job keeping his feet in, falling away. And a nice throw by Sullivan here too, to make sure he threw the ball in the only spot his receiver could catch it. And Taylor, nice concentration. If you saw earlier in the replay, he slipped and fell and was able to get back up and ran towards the sideline, knowing his quarterback was scrambling.
See Jeff Ciccio on the near side. Number 17 on first down, pitched off to Graves. Graves goes off tackle for what might be his longest carry of the night, up to the 41.
You know, maybe that's what BR has to do, run it off tackle. I think that's, at least from what I've been noticing up here in the booth, that's their first off tackle run, and it went for a pretty hefty gain, at least on first down. Maybe the key for BR's offense tonight is run off tackle rather than their traditional run up the middle, power I formation.
When they go off tackle, Devontae Graves will use Bryce Shaw kind of as a steering mechanism. Taking out anybody coming up from either side of Devontae Graves. 2nd and 2. Sullivan dropped it momentarily. BR will recover, but nevertheless, that's a loss down at that point. We saw this a couple weeks ago against Barnesville, where Sullivan and
not really a great snap, almost up right into his chest, not quite where he was expecting. He was almost expecting it down towards his waist. Instead, the snap was chest high. Hard to handle that kind of ball, especially on a crisp night like tonight. Not too cold, but it is. Finally feels like fall around here.
This is what I call nice weather. Finally,
it is nice weather. You're right. Not rainy and humid. I felt like we were living in Seattle for a while.
It'd be pretty cool to have the big needle in the sky.
It would be pretty cool.
3rd and 2. D'Amelia and Taylor again line up on the near side. Devontae Graves will get the first and then some before being pushed out at the 49-yard line.
We'll have to keep an eye on this now. Another off-tackle run for a nice gain for BR. Graves fighting his way through tackles, and that's what he does best. Once he gets in the open field, he's hard to bring down. Nice run there to get the first down on 3rd and 2.
No small run, maybe what Devontae Graves needs early on to try and replicate what happened a couple weeks ago when he went off for 300 plus.
And if I remember, again, that night he went off, they pretty much sat him the second half. That game was already in hand.
Sullivan forced to throw it here, and that one is caught by Joey D'Amelia at the 22-yard line. A nice grab by D'Amelia.
That's an understatement. A nice grab. That was a great grab by D'Amelia on the sideline here. Sullivan did a nice job getting away from pressure. Just heaved it up, trying to get his receiver something. D'Amelia went up and grabbed that ball. Great catch. Wasn't the best thrown ball, but on the run, trying to escape pressure, you can't ask for too much of a better throw, especially at this level. D'Amelia with a nice over-the-shoulder catch. I know I certainly couldn't have made that catch, so props to him. And of course, I'm not exactly one to talk.
No.
Thanks, John.
Second great catch by D'Amelia this season. Had the one-handed grab against Dartmouth and a huge reception here tonight. Devontae Graves tripped up inside the 10. And this is the BR offense we're used to seeing.
Oh, he wanted that one too. He saw no one in front of him. He saw the end zone. Great play by Sylvia there to come from behind and tackle him. Because if he did, I don't think anybody was going to get him.
A 15-yard run for the senior running back.
Interesting how this game's shaped up so far. We're calling Sylvia's name on Braintree more on defense than we have on the offensive side so far. Certainly not the way Braintree wanted that to go, I'm sure. Looks like timeout BR.
This is what we saw right before the Trojans got into the end zone for the first time tonight, which was a Sullivan to Taylor connection from 5 yards out. BR Trojans playing their first home playoff game in 2 seasons. As we mentioned last year, they were on the road at Natick, who, ironic enough, they might be going to Natick next week in the 2-3 matchup if everything pans out. Then if everything goes good for the Trojans, it would be a rematch once again at King Philip in what should be a very fun game, but of course still a lot of football to play both in the playoffs altogether and here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. The King Philip game especially was a heck of a game, back and forth. BR fought till the end, had a chance at the end, and as you mentioned, Corey Sullivan did throw a late interception, but certainly a very valiant effort by the Trojans in that game.
Division 2, some people say, may be more competitive than what's going on in Division 1 this season. St. John's Prep, right around the 500 marks, Varian at 500 at 3-3. Brockton is under par to say the least. They come into tonight at the 7 seed.
Well, as they always say in the NFL, they always would like every team to go 8-8. So maybe Division 1 is the reality of that vision.
Division 1, someone's got to win. Here's a pitch to Devontae Graves, and Graves is going to be driven down. Maybe for a gain of 1 if they give him forward progress.
Braintree was able to stop the outside run this time. Few guys, looks like Sylvia, looks like, who else we've got in there? Noah Brooks again. Noah Brooks has been in on a few of these plays where Braintree's been able to stop him. Brooks is a linebacking junior for Braintree.
Trojans have Taylor Spo to the far side, Jufrey in the backfield. Hand off to Graves. And Braintree doing a good job stopping Devontae Graves in the red zone on this trip.
Yes, absolutely, John. Filling gaps, pretty much like we've seen most of the game to this point. Graves not able to break 3 tacklers at once. And Braintree staying home, hitting the gaps and forcing BR to change it up a little bit.
And we don't have the numbers, but just from first glance, it looks like Braintree may be a little bigger than the BR offensive line, which can certainly help out when you talk about a running back with the capabilities of Devontae Graves.
Looks like another timeout on the field.
Sideline warning, I do believe, as there is a flag down. Sideline warning against Braintree, and kind of new thing I learned after the game against Dartmouth when BR was basically lined up against a concrete wall and got called for a sideline warning. On 3rd down, Sullivan going to throw it. Sullivan, he has to do something here. That is going to be incomplete, obviously, thrown away for Sullivan's own safety before he gets slammed down by Noah Brooks.
Good defense by the Wamps there. Nowhere really to pass it. Again, very solid blanket coverage around and finally getting pressure on Sullivan and force him to throw it away. Nice defensive series there at the end for Braintree, really trying to force, I assume BR, well, I don't know what they're going to do right now. If they can hold them to a field goal or less, I'd take that as a win if I was Braintree.
Dan Barron's going to call a timeout here.
Now, if you're BR here with a pretty decent kicker, you're on the 8-yard line, you're up 2 scores, it would put you up 3 if you kicked the field goal. Would you kick the field goal, or would you go bold and go for the juggler and go for a touchdown?
I mean, at this point here, you're certainly putting a lot of trust into your defense if you go for it here from the 8-yard line. If you turn the ball over here, maybe get a gain of 1 or 2. Braintree starts out from their own 6. You hope the edge rush or the edge rush defense for the BR Trojans can certainly help out.
Well, it looks like BR trusts their defense.
4th down here for the Trojans. Sullivan. Pass is complete. Jeff Cicio, an 8-yard reception.
Nice play by Sullivan to find Cicio in the back of the end zone. Had to hold it for a little bit, waiting for Cicio to break on the route. And Cicio just went up and got it. Almost looks like Cicio came back for the ball. Looked like the ball was thrown behind him. Looks like Cicio wanted to run across the end zone. Also looked like the defender for Braintree. I think it was number 21, if I do remember from the replay, Joseph Sawyer. Almost lost the receiver on that one.
Thomas Fay on for the kick, and that is going to be no good. Nevertheless, a 20-0 lead for the BR Trojans.
Another long drive, another 6 points. Gotta be feeling pretty good about yourself if you're a Trojans fan right now, as the crowd lets him hear it.
Obviously the start that BR wanted, and I think that this is the start BR needed to their postseason here, a 20-0 lead against the Braintree Wamps. You can maybe add another score or two. Maybe you can try and work some of your starters out in the second half. Maybe a Devontae Graves or a Bryce Shaw. Like a lobby.
Certainly interesting booth up here at BR. Where we're situated, we're right near the main entrance to the booth.
We're kind of like the Walmart greeters. We just need little smiley face stickers.
We help out in the booth. Pretty much, I feel like a traffic cop up here, directing people to people that aren't us who have no authority here in this booth.
Nah, 2 trains. You're the conductor. As Thomas Fay comes on again with another squib kick. Up to the 15. This is Donahue. Andrew Donahue again to the 35.
Again, I don't understand the strategy of the squib kick. Again, maybe that's just what they feel most comfortable doing. But Braintree's getting pretty darn good field position off these squib kicks. Good blocking by Braintree, and quite frankly, no one, on a squib kick, it's tough to get downfield before the ball does.
Certainly very important for the kicker on a squib kick. Try and angle the ball right so it maybe takes that extra bounce, goes further inside, but Thomas Fay has had no luck with that here tonight. As Braintree has a chance to double dip here with 2:58 left to go, so important for the BR defense to stand tall to close out the first half.
That's right, Braintree did have the opportunity to get the ball in the second half. Quite frankly, I'm not sure if they won the toss or BR won the toss, but Braintree will get the ball in the second half.
Here's a handoff to number 28, that's Ben Loom, and Loom will get tripped up at the 45 for a gain of about 9 or so.
Interesting, we're seeing Loom a lot here in this game. We heard a lot about Billy Sylvia and all his rushing accolades, and we've seen more of Loom than anybody else tonight.
Of course, Billy Sylvia was the story coming in here as far as some of the coverage was concerned. 163 yards last week against Weymouth.
165 against Brookline early in the season.
A 2-time Division II Player of the Week. On second down, Harris, and this may not work out so well for the senior quarterback. Taken down by Shaw.
I don't know if we had an angle of that, but Dan Buron immediately ran over to the referee to call timeout. I think he's going to try to get the ball back.
Nope, they're going to give timeout to BR first.
Well, no, I'm saying BR. Buron ran over to the referee and tried to get timeout, trying to get the ball back here. I think Buron wants the ball back and to put a nail in this game if he can. Smart coaching, quite frankly.
That's why you're the analyst up here, Scott. You pay attention to things, so start looking off in random directions.
I mean, you were watching the ball. I just happened to see Buron run over to the referee.
Obviously, clock control very important to the BR Trojans.
And not a very well designed play by the Braintree Wamps in the last one either.
Harris on third down, and he's going to get slammed down. At the 43, Dan Buron is going to burn his final timeout. with 2:05 left to go. So the way BR's been moving the ball down the field, 2:05 may be more than enough time.
Very interesting couple of plays there for Braintree. First, the play before this this one was a QB run, and it's really tough to gain yards just on purely QB runs and trickeration, but apparently it's worked for Braintree so far this year. And the play before had the quarterback twisting and turning, and before he knew it, he was on the ground. I feel like if you actually want to throw the ball, just have him stand back there and throw it. Don't twist and turn like a ballerina back there.
The third sack on the Braintree quarterback here tonight certainly speaks to the BR defense buckling down.
Oh yeah, that too.
Sending 4. There you go.
So you're the positive analyst here. I'm the negative one.
That's what makes it work so well.
Exactly.
Now the BR offense should have just under 2 minutes, and maybe Braintree going to try and get BR to jump, or...
Well, I mean, if you're Braintree, you're down 3 scores, you might as well try it. At the worst, you're going to kick off to BR, and the way your defense is playing, they'll get points.
It's going against Braintree.
Boy, this is the second non-disciplined play we've seen on the first drive. Braintree jumped on a 4th and 1.
It was the far side of the line that time, I think.
Both linemen jumping. Last time it was the defensive line, this time the offensive line on key 4th downs. Looks like Braintree's got their punt team on now.
D'Amelia, Taylor around their own 25-yard line. High snap. Wilder almost blocked that one. It's going to take a slight BR roll and some extracurricular activity. I'm surprised there wasn't a flag.
I know.
Calvin Pava trying to have a long distance competition. You're going to see on the near side there getting into it.
Look, they both equally got into it on that one. It wasn't like we typically see on one of those where one defender gets overjealous and throws the other guy down, but they both were just very unhappy with that one on that last play.
No flag, so the Trojans will start out from their own 35. Looking to go 65 yards in a minute 54. A 3-receiver set this time. On first down, Sullivan completes Taylor, shy of the 40, gets past the 40 up to the 42. Clock continues to wind down. It'll only stop now for a first down conversion for the BR Trojans.
If you're BR, you got to hurry up here a little bit. You're only at your own 42-yard line. They're going to the sideline, huddling up. I know it's high school, but you got to have a little more speed here on these plays.
Man 27, pitch to Shaw. Graves, Devontae Graves. And Graves is going to get his second touchdown of the night.
We talked about how Braintree would get back in this game with one play with Sylvia. Forgot to mention that BR could pretty much end this game with one play with Devontae Graves. Huge hole up the middle, and Graves does what Graves does best. Breaks tackles, makes sure nobody can bring him down. Hits the hole hard and just takes off for the end zone.
Devontae Graves, a 58-yard carry. And Braintree.
Nice block by Taylor there back a little bit. He pretty much creamed the only defender that had a shot at Devontae Graves on that play.
At this point, Braintree has to feel just deflated after giving up another score, the 4th score of this first half.
And quite frankly, I think this is why they went for it on that 4th down. Well, they tried to go for it and jumped off sides. Pretty much tried to prevent that, or rather they assumed that was going to happen. Why not try to prevent it by going on 4th down and running out the clock?
27-0. Obviously, the message still going to be for Dan Biron to have his players continue on the gas pedal. Don't let Braintree back into this game.
I'd imagine BR would run out their first team for at least most of the third quarter, or maybe even into the fourth quarter, simply because the magnitude of this game, unless it gets really out of hand in the third quarter. There still is a lot of football to be played, like you said, especially with Braintree getting the ball back. They could get a quick score, maybe a turnover, get another quick score.
Not to mention, there's still another minute 9 left to go. The special teams of BR and the return from Andrew Donahue, typically up to the 35 or 40 here tonight. His kick goes a little higher, and it's going to be a touchback.
Very close to going out of bounds. Took a bounce back in play at the 1 yard line. If that goes out of bounds, that Braintree gets the ball at the 40 instead of the 20. And with a minute 9, that's a big difference. Here's another look. Great angle there on the field. Braintree's hopes for decent field position were dashed with that 1 bounce.
They say football's a game of inches, and you can certainly see why there.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like they say that about all sports, to be quite honest. Whether for baseball, hockey, basketball.
Hockey is more simple. You just put a puck in the net.
Oh, this one you catch the ball and run.
That's true. See, you're the positive guy now.
I try.
Here's Sylvia on first down. Going to the far side. Billy Sylvia ripped down at the 39.
And that run right there is why I'm shocked we haven't seen more of Sylvia. Hurdled the defender and ran for an extra 10 yards afterwards. Ran almost like 20, 25 yards just to get what he did, running all the way around, hurdled the defender, and took 2 or 3 guys to bring him down. If I'm Braintree, I don't understand why I'm not using him more. Why not feature him and see what you got? BR, when they're getting stuff with Devontae Graves and Bryce Shaw, they kept going back to them.
Harris going to throw this one downfield over the fingers of number 24, Kayet Tran.
And Tran was open on that too. He had a defender 5 yards in front and 5 yards in back. Decent throw, hits him for a connection there. Take a look, another run on the throw, another throw on the run, excuse me. Again, if you want him to throw, I don't understand why you don't have him sit in the pocket. Just try throwing that way. With 54 seconds, you do have a bunch of timeouts left, but you need yards and you need them quickly.
Braintree's only used 1 timeout in this first half. Harris on the keep, and he gets stopped. Bailey Leach on the pull down.
So we need lots of yards, we need lots of points quickly, and we go for a QB run up the middle. I don't know how else to say about that.
At this point, Brian Chamberlain and the Braintree Wamps just kind of going with emotions here. 48 seconds left in the first half. Getting smoked 27-0. Braintree really hasn't done anything in this game really that positive except for that Sylvia 19-yard run.
The Sylvia 19-yard run and stuffing Graves and Shaw early. It's pretty much it. It's a very disappointing effort so far if you're a Wamps fan.
Wamps showing a 3-receiver set. Sending 4 on the defensive line. Harris on the run again, and Harris goes out of bounds.
Looks like downfield he had Tran open for just a minute, couldn't see him. Nevertheless, I think he was running about the first down marker. See if we see him here on the replay. He'll be cutting at the bottom of the screen. You can't see him. Oh, I saw he was open for a minute. But that doesn't mean Harris saw he was open either.
41 seconds left to go in this first half. Not sure if Tambiron's going to be more than happy just to wind things down.
I assume if they're punting, you see where you get the ball. If you get a big run back to, say, the 50 or even the 40-yard line, why not go for more points?
They almost got a finger on it. Fair catch by D'Amelia at the 35. And some more back and forth between the 19s, Kyle Duggan and Calvin Pava.
Well, they're both juniors. Well, maybe they got some junior level stuff. I don't know. I'm trying to find
Junior
something.
level stuff.
Junior level arguments. I don't know. I was trying too hard on that one.
What was your experience like in high school, Scott? Junior level stuff. Did you get in fights with people from other towns?
I can't even get in a fight with a fly.
So we are trying to get some extra points before we wind things down in the first half. And the 3-receiver set. Sullivan has all the time in the world, aiming for CCO. Incomplete. Some good defense there by the Wamps secondary.
I'm not sure what Sullivan saw on that pass, but it was a pretty good pass nonetheless.
I had the height advantage over.
He did have the height, but he was pretty well covered on that one.
Braintree still with a good amount of timeouts, so most likely the reason that BR is going to be going on here. Three-receiver set again. Sullivan out of the shotgun. Throws this one straight in the middle of the field to Dan Taylor up to the 49.
I think it's a first down, so it stops the clock.
Sullivan does spike the ball very hard. Imitates Gronk.
More than Gronk, it's more like he's mad at the ground or something. I've never seen a quarterback spike it so hard.
I think he just spiked that off two people.
It almost takes longer to spike it that way than everybody else spikes it.
Good eyes by Sullivan, looking straight in the middle of the field for Dan Taylor. Was in single coverage right on the BR logo.
Almost looked like Braintree was covering the sidelines looking for an out route. And with the clock stopping on first down, why not open to the route? And here's another look at the spike.
What did the ground ever do to Corey Sullivan to throw the ball that angle?
I don't know. He almost threw it at his lineman, too. It's like he's getting back his lineman or something. I don't know. Certainly one of the most unique spikes I've ever seen.
CCO on the near side on second down. Sullivan is going to get taken down, and he didn't see that coming as that one was almost picked off. Sullivan,
very dangerous
didn't see,
pass
Will
there.
Rudin behind him, giving chase.
He saw him the last second, tried to get rid of it. He should have just thrown this ball out of bounds. This was a very dangerous throw, and a closer game could be deadly. Saw him at the last second, just kind of throws a lame duck in the middle of the field near none of his receivers. Lucky that didn't get picked off.
Third and 10, 11 seconds remaining in the first half.
I always find it interesting how BR does the huddles. They almost look at the quarterback like he's the teacher rather than everybody equal around in a circle.
So here you are, Scott, the rare 4-receiver set for the BR Trojans. Sullivan out of the shotgun. Throwing this one deep for CCO, over the head of CCO, and Devontae Graves, with 5 seconds remaining, brings up fourth down.
5 seconds remaining.
There's another look at that long passway. It's almost looked like Sullivan was surprised how far he threw that himself. Threw that a long way downfield. BR takes timeout. We have that as BR was out of timeouts.
Scott, when it comes to high school timeouts, it's like the imaginary number. We have, well, close enough. Here.
I guess, but at the same time, if you're BR, why are you taking a timeout here? In the very least, have Corey Sullivan run around for 5 seconds and take a knee. Or punt the ball or do something.
Well, BR is trying to get some points here, the way they played the final 50 seconds or so. So maybe try and give the wide receivers their routes, or...
I think your route is run to the end zone. And a lateral. I don't know why you would do that when you're up 27-0, but... what they've come up with.
The Wamps are going to be sending 4 on the defensive line. Flipped off to Devontae Graves. And Graves will get stopped at the 18, but nevertheless,
They did the
pretty
lateral.
interesting trick play there.
Well, I said I had no idea why they would. That's why you do one, to try to score a touchdown. They made a great play on that lateral to Devontae Graves. Didn't quite get them the touchdown, but at the same time, a huge gain. And great.
BR will take a 27-0 lead into the halftime break. Dan Taylor got the scoring start with a 5-yard reception. Devontae Graves from 3 yards out to make it 14-0. Jeff Ciccio had a yard reception to make it 20. Devontae Graves capped off the first half scoring with a 58-yard run. Now Devontae Graves is starting to find his true form again here tonight.
Absolutely. Down the Braintree defense a little bit. Braintree was stuffing Devontae Graves and Bryce Shaw early. We think the longest run early in the game in the first quarter was 4 or 5 yards outside of a scramble by Corey Sullivan. BR just kept at it, just kept running, and eventually picked outside, and that seemed to start working great. If you're the Wamps, you have to be really disappointed with the way this game has gone. Stuffing on way they like to run the ball, stuffing them early, turning the ball over on your first possession, not getting Sylvia, your star running back, involved at all for the most part, except for a 19-yard run. You know, for the second half, I guess, you know, play better, play more discipline. They had a few undisciplined plays on fourth down on both sides of the ball, which cost them dearly. For the Wamps, it's just they didn't show up tonight so far.
So 22 minutes down, 22 to go in the first round of the Division II South Football Tournament here. BR up 27-0 over the Braintree Wamps. Back here at the regional on a Friday night, the first round of the Division II South Football Championship Tournament, as the BR Trojans up 27-0 over the Braintree Wamps. John Lucky and Scott Olson back here with you. Thomas Bay comes out for the kick, and the second half is underway. Another low-lying kick as Donahue takes it from the 20. And Donahue
It looks like there's a
gets
fumble.
up to the 34. BR thinks there's a fumble. That would pretty much be the death blow for the Wamps here tonight.
Hanging on by thread
Everybody
already here at the
says
half.
BR ball. And it is.
I was saying off the air about how poor Braintree played in the first half and how they need to play pretty much perfect football to have a chance in this game, and that's not perfect football. That's pretty much the opposite of turning it over on the opening kickoff. When your offense really needs a shot to score some points, and quite frankly, they haven't done that all night.
So this isn't the only blowout that we have right now. BR up 27-0. Natick is beating New Bedford by a lot, 35-0. That game is at halftime. Mansfield over Marshfield in the 4-5 matchup. Mansfield up 14-0, and this may be a little bit of a surprise. King Phillip over Barnesville right now, 21-12. A 9-point lead for the Warriors as they approach the half. Devontae Graves, first offensive play of the second half, takes up to the 28 for a gain of about 6.
Direct snap up the middle for Devontae Graves. Looked like almost a Wildcat formation on that one.
Graves just under 100 yards rushing in that first half, including a 58-yard run. Corey Sullivan, 101 yards passing, only a couple of incompletions. Pitch to Bryce Shaw. Shaw going near side, and Shaw is going to the end zone. Bryce Shaw, a 28-yard run, and BR is running up the score.
And we were talking about that off the air too, with all the high scores and blowouts. I don't care if you run up the score in a playoff game. You're in the playoffs, stop them, and Braintree cannot right now. We take another look here. Pitch to Bryce Shaw, pretty much a direct snap. And Bryce Shaw just really runs around the outside and no one can stop him.
On the near side of the offensive line, someone completely decked one of the Braintree Wamps, which allowed Shaw more than enough space to take it in for 6 as Thomas Fay comes out.
I didn't even see Corey Sullivan on the field for that play.
That one is going to be good. It's 34-0.
Very interesting set of offensive plays there for the Trojans. Sullivan never took a snap. I don't know if he was set out wide or didn't even start, but both plays were direct snaps to the running backs. It worked. A little bit of a surprise twist to the BR offense here to start the second half. I can hear in the... And here's another look at the fumble on the opening kickoff, which allowed BR to get that drive. Tough to tell there. It almost looked like he was down.
So we're going to show it to you again, and we're going to, I think, slow it down a little bit just so we can see if maybe he was down, maybe do a simultaneous type of deal. Get everything lined up, cross the I's and dot the T's as BR gets set to kick things away with 10:03 remaining. And
we'll take a look and see if we can see when the ball comes out. It looks like the ball's out there. Yep.
Donahue is maybe the only bright spot for Braintree here tonight. Some of the kick returns bringing it up to the 35-40 yard line.
And even he fumbled the ball. That pretty much sums up Braintree's night here so far.
I'll be happy to know that BC does have a touchdown, though, and that's where Brian Berard is tonight as a BC Eagles ticket holder. BC currently up 7-0.
You know, I thank him for having tickets. It allowed me the opportunity to get in the booth, and that kick went out of bounds. That's why I don't understand the squib kick. If I played Madden enough, eventually one of those is going to bounce out of bounds.
Thomas Fay had another one of those that almost went out of bounds, hit the 1 yard line, bounced back into the end zone, so it was a touchback, but maybe the best starting position for Braintree here tonight.
Now it looks like they're going to make him kick it again. I thought the penalty was you get it at the 40.
Or you have the option to re-kick.
We're being told it's either the 35 or you have the option to re-kick. It looks like Braintree chose to re-kick, and quite frankly,
okay.
Sure. Maybe they're hoping they can return it. I would take the 35-yard line even with the way my offense is playing.
It's like watching a Cincinnati Bengals playoff game.
They have those?
Caught by the quarterback, actually, just over the 36-37 yard line. That's
so
Zach
gained a yard. You gained a yard. And get your quarterback decked. I'm sorry, I'm being a little too negative right now. He didn't get decked, he more just got tackled.
Tapped up, it looks like, by Max Hayward, number 59. As the Wamps had a very difficult time getting anything started in that first half. Just under 75 yards of total offense for the Braintree Wamps in that first half.
And coming into this game, the big story was running back number 47 for Braintree, Billy Sylvia, who was run for a bunch of touchdowns, and Braintree found the ball again.
And BR recovers again.
That thump you heard was John hitting his hand on his pad.
How do you turn the ball over twice in 2 minutes?
Twice in 2 plays. Just it looked like the exchange never really happened. It almost looked like, I think that was Sylvia that had the ball. Almost looked like he tried to hand it back. Almost like he saw the defender and said, I don't want it, you take it.
Right into the brick wall known as James Gimler. And, well, another chance here for the BR offense to try and work on some things. Looking forward to next week. And as we take a look.
Angle at that.
I
tough to tell, but it looked like definitely the exchange was not.
I mean, give credit to Gimler getting straight up right in the running back's face before he could pitch the ball back, try and do a flea flicker.
I also don't understand why you're running when you're down 34-0. You need points, and you need them quickly.
Sullivan on first down with the pitch to William Lombard. Lombard gets pushed out at the 30. We've seen Lombard come on this season in the second half.
I think that was the New Bedford game too, the blowout where we saw him come in. So I guess it looks like BR is slowly working in the second offense, and when you're up 34-0 and looking this dominant, it makes a lot of sense, honestly.
Bryce Shaw opened up the second half with a 28-yard carry. He's out right now. Right now it's Giuffre and Lombard in the backfield. Rosario and Taylor on the far side. Handoff to Giuffre. Trying to free himself of the Braintree defense, and he's going to be about a yard shy of the first down.
Looked like Sullivan almost dropped that handoff. That wasn't a clean handoff either by the Trojans. Taking a look, he almost bobbled the snap. He did bobble the snap. Lucky to get that ball off. And that's really what you don't need if you're the Trojans. I know it's 34-0, but any little momentum swing, you want to keep all the momentum in your favor. As the saying goes, put your foot in the throat. You know, don't give them any life. It's a very dark saying, but I suppose it fits football pretty well.
You're just going to hit it home, apparently, Scott.
I'm not the first one to ever say that, so.
Weiler and Rosario split. Rosario the man in motion. Sullivan on the keeper on third down, and he should have enough for the first down, and he does. A 2-yard carry by Corey Sullivan. Had a 23-yard carry in the first half.
Interesting design here by the Trojans. Usually for a QB run, you see it straight up the middle, not off to the side. It worked. Just different. Like the way they huddle. It really is interesting to me. You see them, they all look to him like he's the teacher. You know, if you see every other team huddle, they kind of go in a circle like a powwow.
Well, everybody looks to him for the play, so he's teaching everybody the way to run the offense, apparently.
You would think they would have done that in practice, though, right?
Split receiver set, early jump. Handoff to Lombard, and going to get nothing on the play.
Take another look here. Braintree lucky to get back on that as one. It looks like number 8 jumped off sides and came back. That's junior defensive end Will Rutten for Braintree. He was able to get back.
Braintree opened up the second half on offense. They fumbled the opening kickoff from Thomas Fay. Bryce Shaw ran that back for a 28-yard touchdown. Then on the first play on offense, a fumble, and now BR trying to add another touchdown on the scoreboard. 2nd and 8, under 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Carried by Chad Garfinkel.
Well, we said the only bright spot tonight might be one of Braintree's return men. I think their interior line has also been a bright spot tonight. They've really stuffed these runs up the middle. No real big holes. The big run by Graves earlier in the game in the 53-yard touchdown, all pitch outs to the outside. So their interior containment's good. Every other form of containment has not been so good, but at least they have something to build on.
Giuffre and Garfinkel in the backfield. Handoff to Giuffre off the fake.
I think the other option might have worked a little bit better on that one.
So we'll bring up 4th down for the BR Trojans.
Braintree is not fooled by that fake flip. And their interior line holds up again. A gold star to that interior line for still hanging in there and stopping the run. Now we have like 3 gold stars for the Trojans on offense, defense, and special teams, but, you know, it's a thought that counts.
Dan Biron trying to wind this clock down as far as he can. Calls a timeout with 5:24 to go in this third quarter. And Scott, we were talking before we came back on air how 34-0 BR on top of this game. Natick's winning 35-0. Next week's going to prove to be a very interesting game to watch, although last year was a BR rout. Nevertheless, a 2-3 matchup. And some of the reason we can talk about next week is because of number 13, Devontae Graves.
And as I mentioned, all the big runs were to the outside. This looks like the 53-yard touchdown run, and it is. Nice block there by Taylor.
Now Thomas Fay coming on for a long field goal attempt by high school standards. No wind to speak of. Blocked. And the Wamps are going to pick it up. Ball is still live here, but BR does stop Braintree from getting on the scoreboard. It also gives Braintree a good start.
Other way around, John. Braintree stops BR from getting more on the scoreboard.
It's 34-0. It's kind of getting chilly. I'm kind of having a brain freeze here.
Kind of getting chilly. Just wait till we're in Bentley for the Super Bowl.
I'm already calling the Super Bowl,
I'm not
Scott.
actually calling it.
Really?
My luck is they'll lose next week.
Easy, Zoe. Okay.
Still a lot of football to be played, including that very interesting game against Natick, to bring it back to that.
There you go. Bring it back to the point that we know. Been an abysmal night for the Braintree offense. Here's a carry of about 2 or 3 yards.
Still no Sylvia. I don't know. I wonder if he's hurt coming into this game. I don't know why your game plan doesn't surround him when he's rushed for so much and getting all the press. They haven't even tried it. It's not like BR's been stuffing him. They haven't tried it.
That was Masai Jean on the carry, number 34. As
Sylvia's
you said,
once again split out wide. I don't understand. He's almost in the tight end position. They have him. Sylvia's in motion behind the quarterback. Now he gets the ball.
Sylvia does get the ball on 2nd down, but really nothing going there as he gets stopped shy of midfield right around the 49-yard line. Only 23 yards rushing for Billy Sylvia, the guy who we thought was going to be a big focal point. As you see on the sweep there.
You know, I haven't seen it. Braintree run a traditional play all night. We knew coming into the game Braintree run a bunch of trick plays and tried to hide the ball and do all these different things. I figured they had some normal plays in the playbook. I haven't seen one where the quarterback just stayed in the pocket and threw the ball.
Quarterback Zach Harris has been hit 3 times tonight. As here's Sylvia gets the first down. Finally, Braintree gets a first down. And they are inside BR territory with 3:45 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
I think it's the first time all night they've been inside BR territory. Taking a look, another motion run. It's almost like their entire playbook is gimmicks. Just whatever, you know, what can we do different? Instead of having 2 or 3 plays at the back of the playbook, they said, what can we do different for the entire playbook?
Well, we see offenses built around the run a lot. We have a quarterback that's more of a runner than a passer. Maybe he tries to throw defenses off. And as I say that, Zach Harris is now on the run. There is a flag. Shaw slams Harris down. And depending on the flag, Braintree will be up to the 41-yard line.
Depending on the flag, but BR had good defense in that. He had nowhere to throw it. Looking downfield, everybody was covered for Braintree.
I'd be inclined to say holding against Braintree.
Looks like they're walking back that way, so that's my guess too.
Given the fact that you allow Harris a good 4 or 5 seconds away that BR's defense has played tonight.
Yep, holding on Braintree. And just as they get something going, we have a holding call. Let's see if we can see it. Looks like right there. Number 68 on the offensive line.
John Longworth, the guilty party we do believe. But this happened in the first half as well. It was a 3rd and 2, then Harris dropped back for a 10-yard pass, and all of a sudden it was a 4th and 12, and now on 2nd down, a running play up to the 49.
And again, no just straight handoff. Let's fake handoff to Sylvia. Let's fake a QB run. Now let's run it up the middle. Sylvia motion, let's fake it to him. Or no, let's pitch it back. My mistake. Sylvia handed off to Loom, who came around from the other side. Either way, no straight runs up the middle for Sylvia. With the numbers he was putting up, I'm kind of surprised. I figure, sure, there's some gimmicky plays, but I figured they'd have just straight runs up the middle with a guy who breaks tackles like he did. You can clearly see the handoff on that.
So now a 2nd and 16. Time continuing to wind down in this 3rd quarter. Braintree seems nonchalant in this game, kind of accepting their fate as Harris is going to get the first down and then some. Taken down at the 23, Zach Harris.
QB sweep. You don't usually see that.
Why
but not? Why not at this point? They actually got some good blocking downfield to Braintree. You can see in front of Harris there are a lot of good blocking, making holes and allowing him to actually make a gain. Maybe this is how Braintree scores points. Maybe.
I believe that has to be their longest play of the night.
I do believe. I think the longest play before that was the Sylvia, was it 15-yard run?
Braintree trying to get into BR red zone territory here. A minute to go in the third. Harris throws for the first time tonight, and now we're seeing why Harris is not a throwing quarterback.
Yeah, you know, maybe there's a reason their playbook is the way it is. Had Donahue wide open and way overthrew him, and quite frankly, that should have been tipped off on the pick. No one was close enough, but those kind of plays usually get intercepted.
Rosario playing over the intended receiver, Donahue.
Yep, that was an easy pitch and catch throw. So, you know, maybe as the game goes on, we'll discover why Braintree plays the game the way they do.
That's a cliffhanger, almost a tease, if you would.
You got to keep the people interested in going into the fourth quarter. It is 34-0.
I like your thinking. Harris going to throw again. Hit on the throw. Tipped up, and that one is caught. The Braintree Wamps are on the scoreboard. Billy Sylvia. We talked about him rushing, but he gets a receiving touchdown from 23 yards out.
And I noticed Harris takes a big hit on this. I don't know if you'll be able to see it from this angle. Right
Boom.
there, takes a big hit. He's just getting up now. Lucky break for Braintree right there. And if you're BR, you have to be a little bit disappointed that Braintree was able to move the ball a little bit. But quite frankly, in that play, tips happen. That kind of, you can't beat yourself up about that too much. That sort of play just happens.
A nice heads-up play by Billy Sylvia.
It's a flag on the field. Looks like Braintree had too many men on the field. Too many men broke the huddle. As soon as the flag was thrown, a Braintree player, looks like number 8 there, Will Rutan, took off towards the sidelines, realizing he wasn't supposed to be on the field. Let's see what the call is.
It is the extra man penalty.
So that must be enforced on the kickoff. They didn't move the ball back for the extra point.
Billy Sylvia, 52 yards all-purpose here tonight, as that kick is going to be good. And Braintree trying to close the gap here, 34-7.
It's a bad snap, too. Nice placement by the holder. Had to pick it up off the ground and set it back up. And take another look at the touchdown here. Harris rolls out and gets creamed. Really a high pass that just happens to find his own receiver. Nice play with Sylvia to break some tackles and score. But yeah, that was another high throw. And like I said earlier, sometimes those balls are lame ducks. They can get intercepted. Braintree get lucky and get a touchdown on it instead.
So the Wamps trying to make things look a little more respectable in the final score potentially here.
I think they heard me make the Bentley comment.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. You ticked off the Braintree Wamps. This is what happens.
I didn't mean it that way. I mean, I did say it, but
You've unleashed the bad karma on the Braintree Wamps.
if they can close a 34-7 gap, I'll give my hat to them.
Not the Facebook hat.
No, not the Facebook.
Oh, thank goodness. We'll be able to see what.
Yeah, we're gonna see where the
I
hat
wouldn't be able to
goes
see
today.
where I am until I see the BTV hat somewhere.
That's true. That's the tradition it is at this point to advertise the games with the My BTV hat on Facebook. So I've been told I need a new gig. I need to somehow promote the games a little bit differently.
A new niche.
A new niche, that's right.
Taylor from his own 10-yard line. And Taylor up to around the 35-yard line. Going to be kind of interesting to see what we see as far as the offense goes. As Jules Wiggins, the backup quarterback, is next to head coach Dan Biron.
Nice run by Taylor there up the middle. Really just took the opportunity he had, hit the hole, and just kind of went down, making sure to protect the football. Got a nice starting field position.
You see Wiggins, the junior quarterback. Certainly not up there as far as the height goes, but still can try and run the ball. As here's a pitch to Lombard, and Lombard goes to the far side up to the 38, 39-yard line.
I think it's pretty telling how BR thinks this game is going to go if they're bringing in their backup quarterback in the third quarter. A nice run here on the outside by Taylor. Braintree's been kind of weak on the outside on these runs. Really, the only thing they've done right on the defensive side is the interior line. And it looks like BR is going to let the third quarter run smartly. And here from BR, it's been all BR here through 34-7.
Billy Sylvia, the lone scorer for the Braintree Wamps off that weird tip touchdown reception. As Marshfield has closed the gap, 14-7, getting set to open up the second half. And King Philip continues to build their lead over Barnstable. As we talk about Corey Sullivan now, and Sullivan, he is a passing quarterback, as we're seeing some of his highlights here, the passing play to Dan Taylor. But good job surveying the field tonight, and he had a lot of time to do it as well.
Certainly, his interior line gave him a lot of time. An above average night for him. Usually, sometimes he can struggle with the pass, and tonight he was on point, making great throws. Here's a nice throw to the sideline. I believe that was to Taylor earlier in the game. I believe this is going to be the long play to D'Amelia. Yes, it is, down the sideline. And great catch by D'Amelia, and put it really where only his receiver could get the ball.
Typically you see Sullivan practice on the field a good hour and a half before the team even comes out, takes D'Amelia with him.
Sure, paid off tonight.
Jules Wiggins under center to open things up. Lombard gets the carry attempt, and he's going to get stopped at the 35.
Interior line for Braintree. That's pretty much kind of beating a drum here, but that's all that's been going right for Braintree. When you're running up the middle with BR, it's not going well. And you have to give Braintree credit for that.
So now a 3rd and 7 for a BR Trojans offense that really hasn't missed a beat all night tonight, even with the extra opportunities they were given in the first half. Alex Weiler on the near side. Rosario the man in motion on 3rd down. Hand off to Jufre. Robert Jufre gets stopped at the 37. As we have under 10 minutes to go. And
really, BR is just trying to kill the clock here. Trying to give some players an extra chance because you never know what's going to happen, even in the playoffs. So good to get players opportunity in a game like this. And credit to Braintree for still playing in at least in the interior line, making sure BR's second team doesn't run all over them.
Remember a couple years ago against St. John's Prep, BR lost their 1st and 2nd string running back, and I believe that was when Sean Knoll started playing, and Knoll was probably one of the better running backs in BR history.
Oh, no doubt.
Pay comes on for the punt. Sylvia with the return up to the 35. Billy Sylvia gets stopped at the 37.
He seems to be very slick when breaking these tackles. He seems to be very hard to tackle, and I'll say it again, I don't understand why they didn't go to him more during the game. One broken tackle, 2 broken tackles, and finally stood up by Bryce Shaw.
Braintree head coach Brian Chamberlain said this about Sylvia. He's able to do many things: offense, defense, special teams, and he does them all very well. He has a fiery, competitive attitude, and we're starting to see tonight why. I mean, the Wamps, they look like they've been dead in the water most of the night, obviously down 34-7, but Sylvia continues to chug along. A running play on 1st down to Noah Brooks. Brooks up to the 42, 43-yard line.
And why not put him in even now? I mean, what are you saving him for? I mean, I guess Thanksgiving, if Braintree does play a Thanksgiving game, but why not? You know, see what happens. You're down 34-7. What's the worst that happens? You lose?
thought I felt the press box shaking. Maybe
I felt it too. No. You're not crazy. The truck is joking that we had an earthquake, but it felt like it. I don't think we did, but let's not panic as people can hear us outside the window.
So, yeah, on second down, come to the near sides, and he'll get right around the first down marker, depending on the spot. So we'll him a yard shy.
Nice run by Sylvia there. Good run, and finally putting him in.
Just under 60 all-purpose yards for the junior running back. Talked about his past performances this season, so Billy Sylvia will be a name that we'll hear about in high school football a lot next season for the Braintree Wamps.
It looks like Braintree's changing quarterbacks now, bringing in Michael Tellier, the sophomore quarterback for Braintree. He's also been on the punt team. So it looks like they see the score and are trying other things now, like BR is.
Brooks in the backfield on 3rd and short. And he gets a handoff, and he gets a first down. Inside BR territory up to the 48.
I think that's the first handoff up the middle we've seen all night from Braintree. Straight handoff, and it worked. Although there was a little bit of trickeration with, I'm not even going to try to pronounce number 20's last name. Not going to do it. But
Marcel
anyway, he came across.
Stibokowski?
Sure. He came across, and they faked him, but it was the closest thing they've had to a straight run all night.
You can take a shot on the visiting team. We're BTV, not Braintree TV. We're Bridgewater TV.
True, but
it's good practice, is what you're saying.
Yeah, good practice for you.
Thanks.
I mean, I'm sure you'll be in the booth more often than me.
On first down. A handoff to Andrew Picard. Picard up to the 43, 44-yard line as we continue to wind things down. Just about 6 minutes left.
Nice run up the middle for Picard there, dragging a couple defenders along with him.
As we mentioned, most likely BR will be on the road going to Natick next week. Natick, the 2 seed. And King Philip continues to increase their lead over the Barnstable Red Raiders. A team who the BR Trojans would like another crack at coming up in a couple weeks.
I mentioned at the top of the broadcast that BR remembers that game from last year, and they want to prove themselves against King Philip.
Pass is complete, shy of the first down. Complete to Dominic Pistorino.
I didn't see who made the tackle for BR, but that was a great tackle. Run. That was Jane Rosario. Nice tackle to really keep him, stop his forward progress so he didn't get the first down. So it forced the 3rd and 1. It looks like, if you see on the top of the screen there, the top left-hand corner, it looks like Harris is down for Braintree on the sideline. I don't know if he's just upset at the score of the game or if something's wrong with him. You can see him at the top of the screen.
Zach Harris is the senior quarterback, so obviously starting to feel the score here as tripped up and taken down by number 19, Kyle Duggan. Tellier goes down and takes the same fate as Zach Harris tonight.
And that makes Rosario's tackle much, much bigger because it forced them to take basically it forced that play. If they get the first down, maybe they still get the sack, but it's not as meaningful as forcing them to play for it a 4th and long.
The 4th sack on a Braintree quarterback tonight. Zach Harris was hit 3 times, and now Tellier the 4th time. Tellier also the punter for the Braintree Wamps. Taken from right around the 15-yard line, and we are going to start from their own 32.
Take another look at that return.
Weiler on the punt return.
Got a few good blocks, and quite frankly, most punts go like that. You get a few blocks, you get 10 or 15 yards, you go down and start your team out. Quite frankly, when you're up this much, you don't want to have a fluke turnover or anything like that. So quite frankly, I think that's a smart play. Just run up, take your yards, and go down.
So for the Trojans, it's another trip to the sectional semifinals. Hand off to William Lombard, who breaks free. Lombard up to the 20, tripped up. A great run by William Lombard.
I've been praising Braintree's interior line all night, and finally they have broken down. Run straight up the middle, huge hole. Taylor takes big advantage and almost breaks it. So close. I cannot pronounce his name. Stipolkowski. He comes out and makes tackle, because of course he does.
The 48-yard run by William Lombard, the sophomore running back. Yet another sophomore running back making a big run in a meaningful game for the BR Trojans.
They certainly know how to generate their running backs here at BR.
Of course, number 4 is the quarterback, and right now it's a blank space on the roster. Nevertheless, Robert Jufre, we have his number. He's in the end zone for 6. A 19-yard carry for the junior running back, Robert Jufre.
Again, run right up the middle. I think Braintree's about had enough. Even in the interior line's given up. I think everybody's pretty much saying, let's start the buses and let's go home. And quite frankly, the booth up here is clearing out from both teams, so I think that's pretty telling to how this game's going to turn out. Not that the score and the amount of time left doesn't tell you that either.
Thomas Fay comes back on for another PAT opportunity. Fay had a difficult time kicking a couple weeks ago against Barnstable, so getting back into the swing of things. A low kick might have been partially blocked. Still good, though, 41-7. And one of the, as you see, Robert Juffe breaking free right out of the outstretched fingertips of Rory Murphy.
And that was a good run by Dufresne, not just because he scored, but because he broke a couple tackles on the line, too, to create an opportunity where there wasn't necessarily one, although he did have a pretty good hole to run through as well.
Mansfield on top of the Rams now, 28-7. So it looks like if everything were to stand right now, it would be King Philip against Mansfield next week, and it would be BR on the road against Natick. Obviously, the winner of those two games meet up for a shot at the Super Bowl. And for those thinking a little far down the road, like Scott Olson, as he mentioned, Division II shutout Gillette Stadium, so the winner of the sectional finals will meet up at a college to be determined. Most likely it would probably be a Bentley, maybe a Stonehill, depending on the two teams that make it. Here's Donahue, and he gets stopped at the 30 for all of his troubles.
Got hit pretty hard there too. Now it almost looked like one guy blocked for him and 3 VR defenders that came up and crushed him at that 30. Yep.
The Trojans imposing their will all night long.
Looking to see who comes out for quarterback for Braintree.
Looks like it's going to be Tellier again. Zach Harris may have very well played one of his final meaningful high school football games here tonight at BR. Well, for the Trojans, they're still guaranteed at least one more home game before we wrap up 2017. Well, one more home game on Thanksgiving morning.
We will be there for that game, as we are every Thanksgiving.
Ben Loong charging forward for the first down. Good run by Ben Loong, who kind of got things started for the Wamps tonight.
He's pretty much been their featured back all night. He's had, without the stats in front of me, he seems like he's gotten half their touches. This is his longest run of the night, I do believe.
Just about 2 minutes left. As the fans continue to empty out here at the regional on a chilly Friday night. Oh, slammed down by number 63, John McDonald.
John McDonald was there almost, it seemed like before they snapped the ball. What a great defensive play there by BR. Barreled through the line, and they barely got the handoff off.
Andrew Picard not really having a good night. Guess you could say that for most of Braintree's night. As Braintree continuing to wind things down. Final 65 seconds coming up here. Play action, Tellier. Still on his feet, looking for the first down. Gets it, and then some. Before being finally knocked out of bounds.
Now, if you're the quarterback, I know you're trying to get every yard you can, but he's going to have to learn very quickly to just step out of bounds. He took a little bit of a licking here at the end of this play.
Brian Merlino, number 43, I think is going to get a helmet on him.
At the legs, too, which is a clean tackle, but as a quarterback, you don't want anybody near your legs, or quite frankly, most of you, but especially the legs.
So Braintree will play New Bedford in the consolation game. Obviously not a bracket you want to be in if you are a high school football player. Both coming off of brutal night here.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty much nothing went right for the Wamps except for that one touchdown where they got a lucky tip. It's been a struggle on all three phases of the game for Braintree.
Meanwhile, for the BR Trojans, this is a team that is prepared for what they have coming up. A game against Natick, and who knows what happens in a couple weeks if they get past Natick. They have the running game, they have the passing game down. Obviously, with a coach in his 25th season like Dan Biron, BR looking to remain as a Super Bowl pick here. Tellier runs out of bounds, and that's a wrap on the quarterfinal matchup between BR and Braintree. The Trojans get the 41-7 shellacking against Braintree here tonight.
And like you mentioned, a great all-around three phase of the game for the Trojans tonight. Long drives, short drives on offense, big plays, short plays, everything was firing on offense. Defense created turnovers, special teams created turnovers. You couldn't ask for a better performance if you're the Trojans here tonight.
So it looks like it's going to be Natick coming up next week for the BR Trojans. We'll obviously update you on that on BTV right now on the BTV Facebook page and Channel 9 as well. But for now, for Scott Olson, I'm John Luck. Thank you for watching this game as BR wins 41-7. They move on to the semifinals.